You check your phone again. No new messages. Something in your chest tightens anyway, and you don't know why. You call it loneliness. But the real answer is far stranger. Loneliness is not a mood. It is not proof that something is wrong with you. It is a signal, ancient and precise, built into your nervous system long before phones, long before cities, long before language itself. Picture your ancestors 60,000 years ago. Not one person alone in a cave. A cluster of people sharing fire, sharing food, sharing watch through the dark hours. A human alone on the savannah was a human without a lookout, without a second spear. Alone meant exposed. Alone meant hunted. So evolution built a warning system. Hunger tells you your body is low on fuel. Loneliness tells you something just as basic. It tells you your body is low on people. That's the theory from the late neuroscientist John Cacioppo, who studied loneliness as a biological state, comparable to hunger or pain. His research found isolation raises blood pressure, fractures sleep, and increases inflammation. Why would isolation trigger an immune response? A person cut off from the group was more likely to get hurt, more likely to need to heal alone, so the body prepared for damage before it arrived. Cacioppo called this the loneliness loop. Isolation triggers stress. Stress triggers suspicion. Suspicion pushes people further away, which deepens the isolation. The very mechanism meant to drive you back to the group can wall you off from it instead. This isn't a flaw in your wiring. It's a survival algorithm running in a world it was never designed for. For most of human history, the algorithm worked. The tribe was 10 steps away. Now you can be surrounded by thousands online and still feel that same ancient alarm. Your brain cannot always tell physical distance from emotional distance. It just sounds the alarm. So what does the group even mean to a brain built by evolution? The anthropologist Robin Dunbar studied brain size against social group size across species and found humans are wired for roughly 150 stable bonds. Not 5,000, not 800 followers. That number, Dunbar's number, is a cognitive budget. Push past it, and bonds feel thin. You can have 1,000 contacts and still feel unseen because your brain was built to hold a village, not a crowd. This explains why you can scroll for an hour, see dozens of faces, and close the app feeling emptier than before. Quantity isn't the missing ingredient. Depth is. The stakes of ignoring the alarm are real. The psychologist Julianne Holt-Lunstad analyzed data from over 300,000 participants and found weak social ties carried a mortality risk comparable to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day, higher than the risk linked to obesity. Loneliness, in large enough doses, behaves less like an inconvenience and more like a slow-acting physical threat. Why would isolation carry that weight? For nearly all of human history, a person without allies had no one to share the hunt, no one to nurse them through illness. Natural selection didn't need a separate punishment for isolation. It just made isolation feel unbearable enough that people would claw their way back to the fire. So what happens when you mute the alarm instead of answering it? Scrolling, binging, filling every silent moment with noise. But muting an alarm doesn't put out the fire it's warning you about. It just keeps burning quietly in your blood pressure, your sleep, your immune system. What does answering it actually look like? Not more contacts, not more likes. A short list of people who would notice if you disappeared for a week. A conversation where you say the true thing instead of the easy thing. Your nervous system isn't asking for an audience. It's asking for a tribe, even a tiny one. The ache you feel scrolling through a quiet phone isn't proof you're broken. It's proof that a system older than agriculture is still doing exactly what it was built to do. Telling you to go find your people. Maybe the real question was never why you feel lonely. Maybe it's what your ancestors would have done the moment they felt that same ache, staring past the edge of the firelight. They would have gotten up. They would have walked back toward the voices. And the fire would still be warm. You check your phone again. Still no new messages. But this time you understand the tightness in your chest for what it is. Not a flaw. A signal, older than memory, quietly asking you to come home.